So thank you for joining us today. My name's Morgan. I'm the Tax Bandits Business Development Team Lead. I'm here with Audrianna, the Tax Bandits Product Team Lead. Hey everyone. We're so glad that you're joining us today as we dive into important updates for payroll professionals and employers this year, the latest changes to IRS Form 941, as well as some tips on remaining compliant. Whether you file Form 941 quarterly or manage it on behalf of clients, it's critical that you stay current with IRS changes. Even a small update can affect how you report your wages, calculate taxes, or make payments.
So today, during today's webinar, we'll briefly go over the following topics. We're going to go over the purpose of Form 941, the latest updates and changes, tax liability versus deposits, understanding your deposit frequency, and common mistakes to avoid and tips for staying compliant. We're also going to go over a step-by-step breakdown of the 941. And then at the end, we'll do a live Q&A session. We'll be able to answer some of your questions. But first, let's go over why the Form 941 is even necessary.
You can think of Form 941 as your business's quarterly tax report card. Form 941 is the cornerstone of payroll tax compliance for most employers. It lets the IRS know how much tax you withheld from employees and what you owe as an employer in Social Security and Medicare taxes. It's also filed every quarter and reconciles the taxes due with the deposits you've made. Think of it as the IRS's way of checking in on your payroll about every 3 months. This also includes information about current and past payroll tax credits, like those related to COVID-19, although most of those have expired. So Audrianna, who files Form 941?
That's a great question. So any business that pays wages subject to income tax withholding, Social Security, or Medicare taxes, or businesses who do not qualify to file the annual Form 944.
That makes sense. Now let's talk about one of the most significant changes for Q1 2025, the updated Social Security base limit, which is now increased. So what does this mean for your reporting? For 2025, the wage base has increased from $168,600 to $176,100. That's a $7,500 jump. And with all this means is that higher earners will contributing just a little bit more this year. The increase is based on the average wage growth and is updated yearly to maintain Social Security funding and fairness. Another helpful update is related to the 941X.
So back in 2024, the IRS introduced a major improvement for the Form 941X filing process. You can now e-file the form, which was previously required to be submitted only by paper. So this is actually a game changer for payroll professionals and employers. So the 941X is used when you need to correct the previously filed 941 return. And it could be due to overpayments, missed tax credits, or just simple errors in reporting. But being able to e-file this form makes the correction process a lot quicker and more efficient. And also, when e-filing, you can expect faster processing times and immediate confirmation from the IRS, which is, it can help avoid the long waiting times that were really common with the paper filings.
Now that we've covered the exciting update on Form 941X, let's take a moment to talk about the critical aspect of 941, the difference between tax liability and the deposits that you made throughout the quarter. One of the most common mistakes that we see on payroll tax returns comes from confusing tax liability with what's been deposited. Audrianna, can you break down the difference and why getting it right is just so important?
Yes, absolutely. So the tax liability is the total amount of employment taxes your business owes to the IRS for a given period. This includes your Social Security, Medicare, and withheld federal income tax. So based on when employees are paid, not when the money is deposited. Your deposits are the actual payments you've made to the IRS to cover that liability. These can happen weekly, monthly, or semi-weekly. So it just depends on your deposit schedule. So just key points here are that your tax liability is tied to your payroll pay date. deposits are when you send the money, not when the liability was incurred.
Why does all this even matter? Well, it matters because the deposits that don't match the timing of your liabilities can raise red flags.
Yeah, so even if you have deposited the full amount, if your Schedule B dates are off, you could face penalties for late deposits. So even if the timing is wrong, but your amounts are correct, that could still be a problem.
Okay, well that leads us to another big factor that impacts how you handle your deposits, and that's your deposit schedule. The IRS sets rules on how often you need to deposit your payroll taxes based on the size of your liability and when it occurs. Knowing your deposit schedule is crucial. If you don't deposit on time or you deposit too early, you might face penalties. There are 3 main IRS deposit frequencies for employment taxes, like those reported on Form 941. Let's break it down just to make sure you're in compliance.
So there's actually 3 types of depositors. You got the monthly depositors, who are employers with a $50,000 or less in tax liability during the look-back period, which is usually 12 months. Then you have semi-weekly depositors. They're employers with $50,000 or more in tax liability during the look-back period. And then there's the $100,000 next day depositors. They are employers who accumulate $100,000 or more in tax liability on any day in the deposit period. And they must deposit the very next business day. So knowing when to deposit is one of the most common challenges for payroll teams. Getting the timing right ensures your taxes are paid on time, avoiding any interest or penalties. And depositing taxes late is the financial equivalent of ghosting the IRS.
Yeah, except they'll find you.
Yeah, they are. They sure will.
All right, so we have a little visual here for you. This chart is a great reference to know exactly when your payroll taxes are due based on your deposit schedule. If you're not sure which category you fall into, the IRS uses your look-back period to make that determination. For a basic overview of deposit schedule, you can scan the QR code on the next slide to visit our helpful knowledge base, or if you need more specific instructions, contact the IRS. They will have, we'll also have that information on the next slide. We'll just give you a moment to review this and get the QR code scanned.
All right, so we're just going to move along.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about what you're really here for. How to stay out of trouble and keep those 941s filing smooth and penalty free. This next section is about the key takeaways and best practices, the tried and true methods that can help you avoid the most common pitfalls we see on Form 941.
So first, knowing your filing deadlines. So you're going to want to mark quarterly due dates. Form 941 is due quarterly, of course, with the deadlines falling usually on the last day of the month following the next, the end of each quarter.
And then you'll want to just stay updated on IRS changes.
Yeah, so you'll monitor updates on limits like the Social Security wage base, what we're covering right now.
You will understand tax liability versus deposits, record liabilities by date on Schedule B if you're required. You'll verify your deposit schedule to determine whether you're monthly or semi-weekly based on your look-back period. You'll reconcile payroll regularly.
Yeah, you just want to double check before filing amounts, dates, just make sure they all align.
Audrianna, what do you think the best way to avoid IRS issues is?
I think you just don't poke the bear, and you definitely don't forget to feed it quarterly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, so let's quickly go through a few of the features that we offer, Tax Bandits offers, to making filing your 941 a whole lot smoother.
We have multiple options that you can choose to pay your balance due, whether you want to pay EFTPS, EFW, pay by a credit or debit card, or simply mail a check. We've got you covered. We also offer an option to copy your prior quarter rather than re-entering the same information. A lot of taxpayers file the same 941 details consistently, and with their copy prior quarter feature, you can pull the data in from previously filed 941 and use it as a starting point, which will save you so much time.
Yeah, it definitely does. Also, instant status updates. That's another great feature. So we will provide instant IRS updates, so you'll know right away when your form is accepted, or if there's something that still needs attention, we'll let you know. So another popular one is the zero reporting option. So this option, it lets you quickly file a no activity return without having to fill in unnecessary details. So, you know, even if you didn't pay any employees this quarter, the IRS still expects a 941 unless, you know, you've notified them that your business is closed or is just seasonal. Filing that zero report keeps you in good standing.
It sure does.
Okay, so we've covered, you know, main highlights, but we know every filing situation is a little different. So we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the chat section. And then we'll wait just a moment to, you know, let the questions roll in. So we'll give you just a few.
All right, everybody. So if we don't get to your question today, we will follow up with you after the webinar. We have a question from Tony. I am brand new to Tax Bandits. Thank you for signing up with us. Is there any way you could walk through a demo of the 941? We will definitely do that shortly after the Q&A, so stay tuned for that. And then let's see if there's...
Yeah, with the 941, we'll run through the filing flow quickly. And then if you still have questions beyond that, you can always contact our client success team. And then we'll also provide that phone number. So we have a question from Allison. Allison said, when closing a business, how do you complete and submit the final Form 941? So that's a good question. You'll complete it as you normally would. You'll just check the final return box on line 17. It's usually part 3. So you'll check that box and enter the date you last paid the wages to the employees. Also, if someone else will be maintaining your payroll records after your business closes, you will indicate that on line 18. Line 18, yes. Okay, and I see a lot of people are asking about a copy of the webinar, and if you're registered to the webinar, you will receive a copy of it to your email right after. So you'll have that, and it will include the slides that we went over today.
It'll also be posted on our website as well, taxbandits.com.
Yeah. Okay, question from Ben. So Ben says, I'm a CPA leading a team that files a bunch of 941s for different clients. How can Tax Bandits help us stay organized and keep things clearly separated between teams and businesses? So we actually offer, Tax Bandits offers a team management feature. It's called Bandit Collab. It lets you assign different roles. You can delegate responsibilities to your staff, like if you want to assign prepare roles, approver roles, or transmitter roles, you can, you know, delegate that between your staff. You can also link specific team members or staff members to certain businesses and certain tasks if you file for, you know, multiple businesses.
Okay, we have one from Jeff. He says, can I manage multiple clients or businesses under one account? You can most certainly do that with Tax Bandits. You can add multiple EINs under one account just to keep all those filings in the same place.
Yeah, you can file as many EINs as you want.
And then we have one from Melissa. What are the e-signature options for Form 8453 EMP, and how do they work in Tax Bandits? That's another great question. The IRS either requires an online signature pin or Form 8453 EMP. This is just an authorization to e-file without a pin. With Tax Bandits, if your client doesn't have a pin, you can easily generate Form 8453 within the filing flow. And then once it's signed, you just securely attach it to the 941 and submit your e-filing.
Well, it's already securely attached, let's see, let me go. So David asked, are there any new lines on the form? So there's no new lines on the 941 for this year. The only changes are the Social Security wage base, and we went over that. There's no other significant changes that you should, be really worried about. If there was, we would cover that with you. But no, it's going to be the same. Okay, so I think that's all the time that we have right now. But like we said, if we didn't get to your question during the webinar, you can reach out to our lovely client success team. The phone number is 704-684-4751. Or you can send us an email to our support email at support@taxbandits.com. We have a brilliant team that can help you, with any questions that you have, any setup questions, any, specific questions while you're going through your filing flow. And also, if needed, we're happy to provide any support in Spanish. Just let us know. You can, when you call our number or send us an email, just request, hey, I'd like to have this, Spanish support. So we'll work that out and we'll get that support you need.
Okay,
All right, we're moving along.
All right, just while we have you, we also have partnered with Wealth Rabbit and would like to introduce to you the only fully digital, simple IRA management platform. Wealth Rabbit was designed by a CPA, a CFP, and a tech development guru, along with small businesses' access to affordable and easy retirement benefits. Some of these include affordable and simple setup, minimal admin work, encourages employment participation, flexible payment plan options, diverse investment options, and helps attract and retain talent. For more information on this or to schedule a free consultation, visit wealthrabbit.com. And also we have a API available if you want to automate your 941 filings. Tax Bandits developer-friendly API. You can easily integrate, test end-to-end, and run simulations, all with seamless functionality. Our development team is here to support your implementation every step of the way. You can email us at developer@taxbandits.com or scan the QR code for more details.
Yep, and we'll give you just a few moments for anybody who wants to scan the code. We're going to take a little pause here.
And then here's just some extra resources here for you.
These resources are the same ones that we provided on the deposit schedule slide. So just if you missed it, you can get that here. But again, it's going to be shared to you. It's going to be sent to your email after it ends. So you'll have this, whenever you need it. We're also going to take just a moment to, because we want to go over a quick little demo for the 941 just to show you how the process works. So we're just going to take just a moment just to get that set up and going for you.
Today I'm going to show you how to file a 941 for the first quarter of 2025 using Tax Bandits. So first you're going to navigate to the 94X/8027 dashboard. From here you're going to select Start New Form, and then you're going to select Form 941 under the manual entry. Here you can select an existing employer from your address book, or you can enter a new one here. You can review the details here and then save and continue. We're going to select Start Filing for the first quarter of 2025. Here you're going to confirm that you're legally authorized to complete the filing on behalf of the business, and then enter the business name here. So now you're going to enter the details on your 941, starting with Part 1. Part 2, you're going to tell us about your deposit schedule and tax liability for this quarter. Part 3, you'll tell us about your business. If the question 14 doesn't apply to your business, you'll skip the section and then proceed to Part 4. Part 4 is asking if the IRS can speak with your third-party designee. You'll enter those details here. Part 5 is the review of your signature. So here you're going to select the payment method in which you wish to pay the balance due to the IRS. You can review your progress so far here, and if you need to make any changes or updates to the form so far, you can select the pencil icon for each section to make changes. If any audit errors were found, you'll find them here. Here's the signature portion of the form. You can either select a 94X online signature pen if you have one assigned by the IRS. If not, you can sign the Form 8453 EMP. Save and continue. Here you can review all filing fees, and then you can select if you'd like to sign up for text notifications or any postal services, and continue. Here's a summary of the form. You can review all the details and edit if necessary. If everything looks fine, you can complete your filing. Enter your card details here. Then you're going to select Pay and Transmit. And there you go. You have successfully transmitted your Form 941 for the first quarter of 2025.
Thank you for making Tax Bandits the #1 e-file provider in the industry. If you have any further questions, you can contact our support team by phone number at 704-684-4751 or by email at support@taxbandits.com.